So as they come up, so just this topic of wanting to look at creative, and so really appreciative for these three women to raise their hand and say, yeah, let's go ahead and talk about what we're doing in our programs. I'm going to ask them to introduce themselves real quick, and as you're introducing yourself, so name, where you're from, we got that part's on the screen behind you. What is your role as it relates to creative? So are you directly responsible? Are you the producer? Are you working with other designers? How does that, just a little bit of context there for folks. So, Allison?
Hi, Allison Aguiar, Barnes & Noble, Director of CRM, and my team is responsible for...
Just, you're fine. Do your thing, hold it close, and he'll adjust.
Okay.
You're good. Yeah.
My team manages email operations, production, targeting, and just recently customer analytics. So we're not directly responsible for creative, but we work closely with our creative department and our strategy team.
I'm Carly Egbert. I'm with Kalmbach Feeds. We are a large animal feed company based out of Northwest Ohio. And I am on the retail marketing team. I am kind of start to finish. We're kind of small scale. Our team, we like to say, is lean and mean. And so I see, I am the creative, the output, start to finish. So there are definitely highs and lows to that. But I get to see it all the way through. So it's pretty cool.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Scarlata. I'm with Ancient Nutrition. I basically oversee all things CRM, so email, SMS, our loyalty program, all of that good stuff. And I'm a stakeholder in creative. I do not, unfortunately, I think I wish I was a little bit closer with our creative team. They sit on our brand team, but everything that we do runs directly with them. So a little bit more of a challenge, but makes it interesting.
Great, thanks. So we're going to this is going to be a lot of show and tell. So we're going to actually have each of our panelists here show a couple of their emails, some of the insights. So from a question setting up, I really just want to provide context so that when people are looking at your emails, they kind of get how you're going to be discussing those. So can you each provide a bit of a description of the role that you see email playing? So is it all about branding? Is it all about sales? Is it a mix? And if it's in a mix, how does your organization tend to interpret the success of email? So Elizabeth, we'll start with you.
Sure. So like I mentioned with creative, we do sit on separate teams from our brand team, which can make this a little bit interesting. Traditionally, Ancient Nutrition was formed as a company where we want to highlight our content and education, and we really want to help people we want to help people with their health. And so over the years, we now sell D2C, and we are selling products that kind of go hand in hand with that content. And so that kind of makes my job a little interesting because I sit on the D2C side where I am, my main objective is to sell, but the brand team's main objective is to still stay true to who we are, educate our consumers. So I'm kind of the cross between that. So a lot of what we do is promotional. I do the forecasting for D2C, so I know every day what my goal is and what I need to hit from a revenue perspective. But I also do have our main stakeholders are on the brand side, and I need to make sure that we're upholding who we are as a company. So we do a mixture, a lot of promotional emails, but then our branding emails are really more through, we call it curated, but newsletters that we also send out.
Awesome, thank you. Carly?
Like I said, we're pretty small scale, and so we focus right now on a lot of branding and brand awareness. We are new to the D2C realm. We started out B2B. We were selling feed to bricks and mortar. And so as we've kind of evolved into this e-commerce life, we want to educate our consumers. We want to inform them, and we want to be a place that they can trust, that they can go in and get content related to, whether it's chickens, whether it's equine, that we are this authentic, true brand that's providing them with real insights and real information, but also providing you with that quality nutrition that is going to help you get to where you want to be. So brand awareness has been really, really important. We try to, throw in some promotional stuff, and I'll show a little bit of how we've evolved into that. But we want to we have big goals and we want to get there, but we really want to lay the groundwork first. We want to get our consumers to really trust us before we start saying, hey, now, spend your money with us and, be a part of our family.
For us, email is there to drive engagement online and in stores. We have a very large footprint, so it's important to get our customers in stores. This past week, we announced our new loyalty program, so driving awareness and enrollments for the new loyalty program is a key priority. And we're also there to let our customers know what is new and notable. We're not just a source to buy books, we are a source for discovery and exploration, and we want to make sure our customers know that.
Yeah, and so kind of you started to go there, but as we talked amongst ourselves, one of the big themes that came up was this idea of credibility, right? How do you establish credibility? So you kind of started with that, Allison. So how does Barnes & Noble look to differentiate itself today, just with all the competition out there?
So our main mission is books. We know books. We are the experts in books, and that's what we're there to serve our customers and let them know what we have to offer. So it's what's coming out, what's new, but also looking towards what they've bought and serving up more content related to that. And our stores are now operating more independently. So whereas in the past, it used to be a top-down decision in terms of what they could buy for their store or what was bought for their store, let me put it that way, and what was displayed in the store, now stores make those decisions themselves. They know what their customers are buying, so they buy their inventory based on that, and that's what they display in the store. So if I go into my local store, I might see books that are political in nature or biomemoirs, and if I go into another store, it might feature more, say, fiction titles up front.
Mine features lots of Lego, so you can tell we read in Texas a lot. Carly, if you would.
Yeah, credibility. So I talked a little bit about that. We actually, on both, so we have two audiences that we're really focusing on. They are the backyard poultry audience, which I don't know if you guys know, but has exploded since COVID. Everyone has chickens now. And our equine, which has always been a cult following. Horse people are crazy, we joke. And for both of those, lifestyles, we actually staff 2 PhD nutritionists. We have a poultry nutritionist and an equine nutritionist. And when we send out communications, they come from them. So our from line is Dr. Nicole Rambo, Tribute Equine Nutrition, which is our horse feed, Dr. Nancy Jefferson, which is our poultry nutritionist. And so people know that, not only are these people educated and, they know what they're talking about, also they live out this life. And we have other staff that are nutrition experts that they'll call and talk to you about your animals and hey, how are things going? How's egg production? How are your horses feeling? Do we need to change anything? Let's go through this process, and then we'll call back and we'll check it on you. We'll send you an email. Hey, it's been 30 days. Tell us what you're seeing. How can we help you? So really just nurturing these people and letting them know that not only do we know what we're talking about, but we care about you and we care about your animals, and really building that relationship, which I think really sets us apart from some of our competitors.
That's great. And Elizabeth, you thinking about credibility?
Yeah, so a little bit similar to Carly. We also have, so our co-founder is Dr. Josh Axe, and a lot of people knew him before, when he was just producing the content, before we actually were selling anything on the D2C side. And so we really leverage Dr. Axe a lot with everything that we're doing. Over the years, though, we have done a lot of testing to try and figure out, does it make sense to have this women's vitamin messaging coming from Dr. Axe, or does it make sense to just in some scenarios, it just didn't seem right. So we've really kind of done a good job, I think, to figure it out now. And, for product launches, we like that to come from Dr. Axe. When it's more promotional, we won't. And we kind of use that just as a way to make our messaging a bit more clear to the consumer. And then through SMS, we really rely on Dr. Axe for that channel. I think it really helps us just become more personalized. People really do think that they're texting with this guy who they've seen on TV and that they, read all of his blog posts. So it's kind of cool from that perspective. It does make it a little bit of a challenge, though, because they really think they're speaking with a doctor through SMS. So we have to be very careful from a compliance perspective. And really, I wish we could be as personal as you just described, but we have so many people who are kind of texting and hoping to speak with Dr. Axe. But if we ever need a good laugh, I kind of read what they're saying to us as well. It's kind of interesting, but we really leverage him for our credibility as well.
I think there needs to be some sort of a partnership between Dr. Rambo and Dr. Axe. We've got a new thing here. All right, so with that as backdrop, we're going to get into a bit of show and tell. So, Ryan, this is your cue. Oh, yeah, that's right. I've been teaching everybody how to do this all week. All right. Actually, I haven't. I've just let you all find it yourselves. All right, so first up.
All right, that's
There you go,
me.
Elizabeth, that's you.
Okay, so I wanted to start with this slide and just show you guys an example of something that our brand creative team thought was an amazing, beautiful email. It is amazing and beautiful, but I just kind of wanted to set the stage with this. It's one of our better promotions, 20% off. I think it looks really nice. We're able to do a good job here just featuring 2 of our beauty collagen products, showcase how a consumer can use these both day and night. And when I kind of asked the team what was their favorite email before I came here to show you guys, and this was definitely the leading one that everyone remembered. I think it fits really nicely with our branding overall. From a performance side, I can't say it did really well or didn't really do well. It was kind of a mediocre email for us, but it's one that is very memorable within the company that people like.
And I recall you had sort of this thought of what's working, and we're going to go from this to the next one. So,
Yeah.
how did you had a phrase that I really liked. You said, "This is what works for us."
Yeah. So the main thing that I always tell our team is just clear over clever. And when Morgan was kind of asking me what emails are working well, I was like, I don't even know if I want to show this one because it just seems it's kind of lame to me. It's, just your run-of-the-mill email. But we've done a lot of testing to figure out all of the different elements in this email and really make sure that it's working for us. And I think they just all really fit together. If you notice, it's just, we always say just really strong call to actions in the offer. We are very offer-based, and our demographic is older. So really just making sure that everything is very clear. A couple things to mention on here that we've tested into using different color call to actions for the primary call to action compared to secondary call to actions has worked really well for us. Incorporating more lifestyle images. And then in this email, I think what performed really well was just the use of our reviews, but in a way where the reviews are actually showcasing how the product can help the consumer. This gets tricky for us because of a compliance perspective with vitamins and supplements, but I think we were able to pull it off here in a good way where we didn't have to add extra copy or anything where we're trying to sell the product and just keep it simple and let that work for us. This email, we just recently ran it in March and it was a top performer by far. I think it was a top 7 email of all time for us when I looked into it, which is kind of crazy. Definitely the top revenue email in the last couple years. So clear over clever definitely works for us. And then I just put this one in for contrast. Kind of similar. The brand team really likes this one, but kind of where I talked about running education and promotional emails, our leadership team wants to make sure everything we're running is just education and that we don't look like we're selling. But it doesn't always work from a D2C side, and it gets really difficult to cram all of that into an email. And this was one of those where I just think the wires got crossed a little bit, and we're trying to educate, where you can find hyaluronic acid naturally, but then also how you can get it from our product. And anytime we try and do too much like that, we just see performance is not where it is with our other promotions. So wanted to highlight that one as well. And then, like I've been mentioning, we do have curated emails. We have a separate list for our curated emails just based on where people signed up and what they're asking us for. The lists do overlap quite a bit though, but this is really our opportunity to showcase more of our education, our blogs. We do have a blog on both our site, our content site, and our store. And so we really kind of vary those up. We like to test which ones are better converting, whether it's on the store or the site. But this is really where we're able to leverage that content more, as opposed to trying to cram it all into one. I put a little bit of stats in here. You can see the click rate is through the roof compared to other promotional sends. Open rate up about 20% with our curated sends. Revenue sometimes can be higher than a promotional send that we're running that week, depending on the promotion, but typically we'll forecast days just knowing that they're going to be a bit lighter on the curated days.
Yep, great.
And then I pulled in here too, I wanted to talk a little bit about SMS because this is another great way where we include educational content. Our SMS we're very segmented with those. So they're being sent out to very small groups, but we're seeing really great performance through them. I kind of pulled, I was telling Morgan, we tend to see really good content when we talk about bloating. If you noticed on the last slide, that also was the main one there. But this was one of our top performing SMS. And with this, we saw, compared to a non-promotional email, we saw 6 times the revenue come from this, and we sent it to 90% fewer people. So I think this is just really important to highlight. And what I have on the right is just the article that it went to. So there are a lot of links in there to product, but it primarily is a very helpful educational article, and we're still able to produce really good revenue from those.
Awesome.
And then I think this is my last one, but I just wanted to highlight something a little bit different that we're doing in the inbox, where we are using our emails to drive SMS sign up. But we're using it primarily during product launches. And so we'll send out an email saying, something is coming soon. We kind of get a little punny with it. This is like super delicious because it was for our Super Greens product that we were launching. And we kind of want the consumer to be able to guess a little bit what the product could be. But we've seen a lot of success with this, just with helping to grow our SMS list. And the people who are signing up through these emails, they tend to be extremely interested in the product, and then we go on to see them convert very well in the SMS program once we start sending them more details of what the product actually is. So this is definitely a winner for us as well.
Great. Thank you. I think that is your last slide. Okay, so Allison, as you get started, I want to could you provide a little bit of context, because there's been a shift in overall email philosophy at Barnes & Noble that you've been helping spearhead.
So in the past, we used to send full file emails every day to our customers with a long list of titles, and the shift has been we still send full file emails. They're 1 to 2 times a week, and every day we send multiple targeted campaigns to cohorts, and I'll get into that a little bit more later. So this is a more recent example of a full file. It's called The New and Notable. It goes out on Tuesdays. That's when most new titles come out. So this has an open rate of over 20%. We feature one title, or in this particular example, we featured a title. And then the rest of the email, there's our poured over, that's the BNN podcast, BNN Reads, that's our blog. There are a couple of other featured recommended titles. And then we frequently have quads at the bottom of our emails. And here we've got our monthly pick, our Discover book pick, our book club selections. So again, serving up bookseller content. These are things that we're excited about and we want our customers to know about. So now we're going to go into some other emails. These are our targeted campaigns, some of our targeted campaigns, and we send these to what we refer to as cohorts. So cohorts are lists of customers who have bought in, say, a particular genre or from a specific author, or they've clicked on particular links in emails that indicate interest in a genre or an author. So this is where we're doing most of the work. So this first example is what we call our Black and Diverse Voices. And these campaigns, these next few campaigns, some larger cohorts, these generated open rates of over 60%. They're small, they're focused. This particular one, there's a featured title. It's new to paperback, so it's not always about like brand new book. It's also about a new format, or it might be about a cover reveal. Those are things that are exciting to us in publishing.
Right, right.
The next one is the Prince Harry memoir. Again, open rate of over 60%. Harry is the main feature here, but below that we have additional celebrity memoirs. There's one royal family one, but there's other stuff in there like Michelle Obama and Jeanette McCurdy, both big sellers for us. This last one went to thrillers. Again, a featured title, some books that are coming up for pre-order, along with more of our picks. So again, showing that we are, this is our expertise. We're showing you things that we think the customer will be interested in based on their engagement. And then just for a little differentiation, this is looking at our most clicked emails. So slightly smaller cohorts. Generally speaking, these garnered over 10% in click rates and open rates around 40%, give or take. This first one went to purchasers of Lore Olympus, which is a very popular series for us. So the main feature is that book that's coming out and then additional books in the series, and this got very high engagement throughout the email. Lego does extremely well for us. Here we featured some lifestyle imagery. The top portion is focusing more on kids and family engagement, but we have this banner for adult Lego enthusiasts, which is a growing segment. Some other categories of Lego, and then at the bottom we have these 4 age group quads, which perform really well for us online and in emails. It's to help people find content for specific age groups of kids. But here we have an adult age group, and this got 25% of the clicks for this email.
Did?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that would be me.
Yeah. And this last one is historical fiction. Again, the main feature is a title that we highlighted in one of our blog posts, and then we have new releases in historical fiction, and then some other bookseller recommendations in terms of bargain books in that category, or our Discover pick for that month.
So just looking, because you were kind enough to share some of the statistics on this, and we had saw kind of a general size of deployment and then open rates and click rates. And notice in the open rates, those open rates were really high, right? But the click rates weren't as much. These, you have the open rates maybe not as good, but the click-through rates are kind of through the roof. Do you have how are you guys thinking about that, and how these different cohorts perform differently?
So I think for some of these, with the smaller cohorts, we generate more engagement in the email because they're more targeted, and that's an ongoing process for us. So we're continually trying to refine our cohorts. So instead of, say, sending an email to all mystery buyers, drilling down, are you a cozy mystery buyer? Are you a historical fiction mystery buyer, or a British mystery, or whatever it is? And so we end up sending fewer emails, but then the engagement drives up.
Got it. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you. All right. Let's learn about feed.
Yeah. So mine is really kind of just back to the basics. So like I said, our team is small, and so we are photography, creative, email, and analytics. We do it all. So starting out, we wanted to push out as much information to our consumers as we possibly could. So that was promotion, that was education, that was check out this video, check out this article, everything. And we found that it turned into these huge long form emails that the scroll was endless, and nobody's gonna go scroll to the bottom of the page and click on any of that. So we had to reevaluate because we saw the results weren't great, the views weren't great, and so we kind of took a step into our rebrand. We rebranded and became a lot more personalized, like I've talked about, and turned our normal weekly emails into a newsletter style, like Elizabeth had talked about. The old format, it was really busy. It was really, just too much. And we transitioned into this really clear, concise, personalized email that comes from our equine nutritionist that says, hey, here's what we talked about this week on our podcast. Here's what we talked about in this article. Go check it out. We have this useful information, and we want to be there to help you. So we saw some uptick in that, and I'm looking forward to, in the future, we love to push a little bit more product into those emails, but doing it the right way. You don't want to. People don't want to be sold to blatantly. You want to kind of slide it in. So we've seen some increase, you guys can see, and the feedback that we've heard has been positive. You'll get the reply to emails that are like, thank you so much for this information, and not like the stop, unsubscribe. So we've seen a lot of benefits in that. And my market's different. They're face-to-face. We're in the agricultural industry, and they're older and they are traditional. And so we have struggled to really get people really excited about email in the first place. They'll call us on the phone and talk to us. So as we enter kind of this new market of targeting people who want to read email and not talk on the phone, it's been interesting to see how the styles have changed with that. This next one is actually a lot of fun, and I just like to brag about it because it was such a fun project. If you are a country music fan like I am, you will know Lainey Wilson. Our horse feed brand actually partnered this past year with Lainey Wilson, who's a country music singer and a horse owner, the goal was just brand awareness and to stimulate trial, because we always say, like, once you start these products, you're hooked, and we believe in them. We know that they're going to work. We know that they're going to make your animals continue to be healthy, be healthier, and just flourish. And so we partnered with her, and the goal was to put the feed first. So we gave away 2 VIP tickets to go see Lainey Wilson in concert with travel and all of this fun stuff, but also we're giving away a year's worth of free feed for a horse. Which is about a ton of feed, give or take. And we'll also sit with you and do a personalized equine feeding plan via email, phone, however you prefer. And we were able to, in 6 months, we tripled our email database with that. And they were real, authentic people that we want to talk to. So, sometimes with sweepstakes, you worry about like people that are signing up that are, okay, I want these concert tickets, and then I'm going to unsubscribe. But we were really conscious about how we marketed this. The subject lines were win free feed for a year. It wasn't, hey, get Lainey Wilson tickets. It was get free feed. And so we had a lot of people that were excited about the feed. We did it twice. Our second sweepstakes winner, we called her to tell her that she won, and she was like, oh, I wasn't even sure, I didn't know I got Lainey Wilson tickets. I was really excited about this free feed. So to us, that was like, what a win. Like that is a huge win for our brand that she signed up because she wanted the feed. It had nothing to do with wanting these tickets. But the goal to partner with her was like I had said earlier, to get new eyes on us. Our distribution on the West Coast tends to be a little thinner than east of the Mississippi. And so by using this national face, we were able to get our emails in front of faces of people that maybe just didn't think about us. And once you're there, once you got your foot in the door, then that's the groundwork for that. During this, we actually launched also our direct-to-consumer on our website. So previously we were just selling through Amazon and Chewy, and we were able to launch direct-to-consumer to kind of target those West Coast people that our distribution is just not as good. And so we've seen really, really big success with that. And I'm so excited to see what the future will hold for us with the direct-to-consumer and how we can just continue to grow this process.
Awesome. That is fantastic. So now we're going to go into Q&A. So I'm going to ask Barbie if she wants to run around in case any of you have any questions. But Carly, I do have a question. I'm going to ask this on behalf of my sister because they became backyard chicken.
Yes. Backyard poultry.
Backyard
it has
poultry.
Exploded.
Yeah, they got on that. Although they ended up raising foxes. Feeding lots of foxes.
Yes, that happens.
Okay.
You have to be careful.
So if there's a topic on that, send it to me. I'll pass it along.
I think we have an article on that.
I'm
we
sure.
do.
All right. Any questions for our panelists?
What's your Bob from RP Origin? So what's your take on modular templates or a template work versus works of art every time you launch it? Is there a preference? Is there a company desire to do one or the other? What's your kind of take?
I'll jump in. We do have modules we have a lot of modules for our emails, and we're now working our way towards more templates. In the past, it was whatever was desired at each time, but as we move towards streamlining, we're creating templates now. Big one.
We're kind of similar. So the creative in me, like I said, I do a lot of the creative is like kind of bummed when we do the templating, like, oh, okay, I just want to make this beautiful every time. But yeah, as we streamline and focus on what people want to read, we've adjusted into this templating process. So we still have a couple of options, and there's still the occasional like, let's create this beautiful email from scratch. But yeah, we usually use templating.
Yeah, we have a good mix, and this is something that we've really tested into the last couple years. Traditionally, Ancient Nutrition was just sending out text-based messages. We weren't even really designing them at that point. Then we moved into more of the modular approach, and now we have what we call templates, but it really is just plugging everything into a lot of modules that we have built out. Just last week, though, I kind of met with the design team because it just started looking like everything was looking the same. So I was like, how do we keep this fresh with still using the same kind of modules? We now have maybe like 8 different templates that we can plug and play into that helps us keep it a little bit more fresh. But just with the amount of emails that go out, we do have most of those emails are using modules that we can kind of play around with.
Yeah, I'm glad you shared that. I know one of the things is I've seen clients, work with different templates. Templates becomes a bad word, is to make sure you have a set of examples of here's a bunch of wildly different looking emails that were all built using the same template, so don't let that constrain you, kind of a thing.
Right, there's still plenty of room for creativity.
Yes, right, exactly.
Carly, interested in your acquisition campaign. A 2-part question. The first part would be, how did you roll out the campaign, through which channels? to ultimately get them into the email program? And then second, did you immediately afterwards introduce them into your list, or did you have like a warming up set of messages before that you introduced them to your master list?
Yeah, so as we launched this, it was really like everything we could. So we did all channels. We did our email, we had social, we had digital. We worked with a couple outside companies that we were able to push out emails through their list. So we partner with a couple equine companies that we'll work with them, and we'll push out emails and newsletters to all of their different segments. We worked with iHeart and did some testing with sending emails out to some of their lists, where they were able to target people who, loved horses, owned horses, loved country music. Able to expand into that. And then as people signed up, we weren't just asking for basic contact information. We were asking, how many horses do you own? What are you currently feeding? Where are you getting your feed? So we were able to just get all of this data that now we have it, and we've created all of these profiles for these people. So when we go back and we're analyzing all of this data, it's not just like, okay, do these people care? Do they have horses? And you have a couple, like you'll scroll through and it was like, how many horses do you have? No horses. I love Lainey Wilson. I'm like, okay, well, you're probably not going to be on our list. We're going to unsubscribe you. But we were able to just curate all of this data and then go in, and we're still in the process of analyzing all of this. And we did introduce them. So part of the sweepstakes was, hey, you are consenting to opt in to our database and our newsletters and our email communication. And they did receive, like, there was kind of a warming up welcome series, and we have segmented them a little so we're able to, when the time comes as we launch new things down the road, we'll be able to make sure that we know where they came from, and why they're on our list, and how we can curate more personalized content to them in the future.
Anthony Chuli from Cordial. This question is for Allison. Allison, you mentioned focusing on like discovery and exploration and driving folks into store. I was curious to understand specifically around the pandemic and maybe post-pandemic, how your strategy has shifted. And obviously driving folks in store wasn't a possibility, but how much of the business and purchasing power is done through e-commerce, through Barnes & Nobles, versus actually driving folks to have that in-person experience, in-store experience?
So during the pandemic, our online sales soared because customers could not or would not go to stores. But we did start to lean in on buy online, pick up in store. We still kept at the bottom of our email nearest store location where possible. And we also implemented virtual events. So in the past, we would have had author events in store. So we did a lot of virtual events online that customers could sign up for. Sorry, what was the second part of your question?
What's the balance between online sales and in-store?
So I would say at this point, the shift has gone back to where it was, closer to where it was before, that customers are shopping more in-store. They want to get out. They want to get into the store. But I think the nice benefit was that we got people to shop online who wouldn't have done that before. They were purely store shoppers, and when they didn't have the option, we were still there for them.
I have a question for Allison also. I enjoyed hearing about your targeting segmentation that you're doing with the majority of your emails. I have a two-part question as well. One, it sounds like you're moving towards a lot more versioning, which is exciting to see. How are you handling capacity, like workload with that? It looks like they're templated, so I'm assuming there's a lot of automation, like dynamic elements in there. Or are you guys curating that content for each email?
So yes, the team has worked towards creating more content blocks, establishing, all the different modules that we use so that when the wireframe is built, all those modules are identified and we know where we can use content blocks and where we have to build something. So we've spent a lot of time trying to push on process and streamlining. And I'm sorry, what was the second part of your question?
No, I haven't said the second part.
Oh.
The second part is more, I'm curious about how your triggered automations fit into that. It sounds like you're trying to be really thoughtful about what's hitting the inbox, and curious how that layers into your strategy with those ad hoc emails.
So I would say that a lot of the content, just to back up for a minute, for our business as usual emails, that is curated by our strategy team. So they're choosing the content and the verbiage that goes into the emails. For our triggered campaigns, we totally revamped what we had been doing. And right now the focus is leaning in more towards our new loyalty program. And we're also featuring, for our loyalty program members, we're serving up information in the header. It's powered by Movable Ink, and you've been a member since. Here's the number of stamps you've accumulated, if you have any rewards. And then within our business as usual emails, we do pull in certain things like store events, or if we know that they've purchased something, we might put in some dynamic content, as long as it lives within the rest of the email. So we wouldn't put something in about, I don't know, we probably wouldn't put something in about a fiction title if it were really like a nonfiction focus email.
Great. All right. I would like to thank this panel and just for sharing and being brave enough to expose your creative to all of these experts here. So let's give a hand for our panelists.